Hello guys, my name's Slippery Jack, and today I'm reviewing the fourth album by the Prodigy, Always Outnumbered, Never Outgunned. Ah, this album. This is considered by many fans to be a weaker release by the Prodigy, and I can see, why some people would have a problem with it. I feel like it goes for a similar sound to The Fat of the Land, but it still has its own sound, but it just feels like it's way weaker. The Fat of the Land was strong pretty much all the way through, but this one just came out kind of like a mixed bag. And there's lots of tracks on here that I think are very good, but there's also a lot of tracks on here that just feel like they just repeat over and over again for 4 minutes, but feel like they go on for way too long. And you're looking at a fan of progressive house or trance that listen to that stuff for 10 minutes. But this feels like it's way longer. And these tracks have no progression. I mean, some of them do, but they're just way too simple. And they're very forgettable too, despite being very repetitive. But I'll talk about the track listing. The first two tracks, Spitfire and Girls, these both started out sounding really good, but Girls especially got repetitive way too quick. Spitfire, though, I think I can listen to this one way longer than most of the repetitive tracks for 4.5 minutes before starting to kind of be like, alright, I've had enough. But Spitfire, though, that's a pretty cool track. I love the distorted guitars and the hard-hitting beats. It just slaps you right in the face. It's a very good intro. And Memphis Bells is a much better track than Girls, and it has a lot darker and more hip-hop oriented. There's lots of hip-hop on this album, and it is way too repetitive too, and it just wore off on me just as quickly as Girls did. Maybe I'd say that this one's a little better still, and Get Up, Get Off wore off on me much faster than Memphis Bells and Girls, and is just a straight rap track. Not a bad one, but it's not a very good one either. But then there's Hot Ride. This is easily one of my favorites. It's just like a straight rock track, and this is the kind of stuff I love the Prodigy for. It's got a great bass line, and I love the guitars. It doesn't wear off on me, and it's more complex and easy to get into, and it's just a ton of fun to listen to. Wake Up Call starts out sounding very promising with a cool sounding bass line, but it just repeats itself into oblivion, and most of the time it actually gets painful to listen to. And this is probably the worst track the Prodigy have ever done. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't sound very nice of me to say that, but it just is a very painful track to listen to. But Action Radar is much more fun and interesting. I especially love the chorus, and then those guitars that come in just sounds so cool. It's just a very infectious track that's really easy to get into. And Medusa's Path is another great one. It sounds more like one of the earlier tracks from Experience or Music for the Jilted Generation, but with some world influence. And Phoenix is basically a remix of Love Buzz by Shocking Blue. You're probably more familiar with Nirvana's cover, but this track samples the original, and they add all these techno sounds around it. It makes it sound more like the Prodigy sound. By the way, I'm a big fan of Shocking Blue, so that doesn't hurt either. And You'll Be Under My Wheels is another very repetitive track, but it's got such an addicting bass line that I can listen to it for a long time. And it's got these samples saying, a rock, a rock, a roll, a roll, a roll, a roll. And then the way it is another repetitive track with some disco influence too, so that's pretty cool, but it's another one that just repeats itself into oblivion. But this is way better than some of the first tracks on this album. But luckily we end on a very good note. Shoot Down features the Gallagher brothers, and I believe it's like Noel Gallagher on guitar and definitely Liam Gallagher on vocals. Or it's just like a completely sampled track. I know I sampled some song, but whatever. It's just a great track, and I loved it immediately. And it's just such a fun track to listen to, and it's, yeah, it might even be my favorite from the album. And overall, Always Outnumbered, Never Outgunned is far from perfect. There are many songs from here that are very mediocre, but I think the good moments outnumber and outgun the bad moments. And I definitely see myself returning to this album in the future. And if you're a Prodigy fan, don't miss some of the good moments on here. I'm overall feeling a 68 out of 100. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.